So meet our boy Wang Bing, a total legend in some ways, but let's be real. He's also the king of simps. Like, dude's so whipped he spends every penny he busts his ass earning at McDonald's on his first ever girlfriend, Zhao Qian. And when I say spends every penny, I mean this guy lives off instant noodles daily while buying her gifts she probably doesn't even care about. The man's clueless when it comes to keeping her interested, so his idea of romance is basically just presents. But wait, it gets better, or worse, depending on how you look at it. Wang isn't just broke, he's also a pro gamer, specifically a god-tier MMO player. One random day, he gets this mysterious invite to join an apocalyptic video game world. Sounds cool, right? Well, plot twist. If he dies in the game, he dies in real life. Yep, straight up Sword Art Online vibes, but with, zombies, instead of anime waifus. Now, here's where things get spicy. If Wang survives this freaky death game and clears all the challenges, he'll be rolling in cash, enough to finally buy his dream Dakimakura. Naturally, our guy takes the bait, signs the sketchy terms and conditions, and gears up for the apocalypse. Let's break down the rules real quick. Die in the game equals die in real life. Simple. Survive for 7 days to get an exit key. 1 day in the real world equals 7 days in the apocalypse. 4. You can take loot back to the real world. 5. There are no rules in the apocalyptic world. And by no rules, you can imagine the kind of chaos that's allowed. Wang's got 4 hours to prep before he's tossed into this nightmare, so he does the logical thing. He raids his broke-ass piggy bank, grabs some instant noodles, survival gear, and his My Little Pony plushie to cuddle during the loneliest of nights. We love a relatable king. But of course, Wang's pockets are emptier than his love life, so he hits up his boys, Hong Fei and Li Ping. Without explaining the whole, I'm about to fight for my life in a zombie death game thing, he just guilt trips them into giving him cash, which they assume he needs because, well, simp life. Feeling all warm and fuzzy from their generosity, Wang vows to pay them back, assuming he, doesn't get eaten by a zombie first. After stocking up on essentials, he starts worrying about Zhao Qian. They haven't talked all day, and in his head, she's probably busy with school projects or some other innocent excuse. So, he calls her up, tells her he's working a part-time gig, and says he'll be MIA for a few days. Zhao Qian, on the other hand, sounds like she's got plenty to say, but Wang cuts her off because priorities. He promises they'll catch up when he's back. What our clueless hero doesn't know is that Zhao Qian is currently cozied up in some guy's car, letting him get a little too friendly with her thighs. And then, the car starts rocking. Yep, she's full-on cheating on our boy and he has no idea. We get a brief shot of the car from a distance and let's just say it's moving like it's in a Fast and Furious movie. Meanwhile, back with Wang, his body starts shaking, like exorcism-level shaking. Before he knows it, he's sucked into the apocalyptic game world, and he's standing in the middle of a desolate wasteland that looks like every post-apocalypse movie ever. Broken buildings, empty streets, a weird, unsettling vibe. You get the idea. And that's where the real adventure begins. Will our simp-turned-survivor make it out alive? Will he ever find out Zhao Qian's a walking red flag? And most importantly, will he finally level up from simp to king? Wang was absolutely shook. Like, he really didn't think this whole apocalypse deal was legit. But here he was, stuck in the middle of it. He tiptoes his way down the street, trying to keep it low-key, when bam, he spots a massive horde of zombies clogging up the road. This is where his brain kicks into survival mode, and he starts coming up with a plan. 1. Always keep the shovel in hand. It's his MVP for smashing zombie heads if they decide to get too close. 2. Stick to paths with fewer zombies. Makes it easier to scope out the area without becoming a snack. 3. And the golden rule? Never mess with zombies if they're minding their own undead business. So far, this apocalyptic hellscape seems almost manageable. All he has to do is avoid the zombies and scout for treasure to live it up like a post-apocalyptic millionaire. Easy, right? Wrong. Suddenly, Wong gets that creepy feeling like something, or someone, is following him. But it's weird. This thing isn't moving like a regular zombie. It's too smooth, too smart. And if it is a human? Oh, hell no, that's 10 times worse. A smart human in this world could outplay him and end his life in a heartbeat. His anxiety skyrockets and Wang bolts, sprinting toward a staircase to get to higher ground. But just as he thinks he's safe, he hears a sound. Click. He freezes. Standing there is a stunning woman, but don't let the pretty face fool you. "Who the hell are you?" she barks. "And drop the bag. Food, water, everything, or you're dead." Wong panics, but tries to play it cool. I don't have anything." He lies, clutching the huge bag on his back that's practically screaming, "I'm full of supplies." The woman squints. "Oh, you think I'm stupid? You've got 10 seconds to hand it over before I show you just how serious I am." 10 seconds? Wang isn't about to lose everything he's worked for, so he grips his shovel and decides to test his luck. As the countdown hits 0, he swings, knocking the knife out of her hand. She rolls back like some action movie star, and before Wang can get another hit in, she's on him. Turns out, this chick isn't just tough, she's got some kind of freaky ability to sense weak spots. She starts landing kicks exactly where it hurts most, and before Wang knows it, he's flying through the air like a rag doll. She grabs him by the neck, pulling him close. "Last chance. You're gonna die if you don't give me that bag." Wang starts begging for his life, practically sobbing. "Wait, there are canned goods inside. We can share." Her eyes light up, and she actually starts drooling a bit at the thought of food. Bingo. While she's distracted, Wang whips out a taser he's been saving for emergencies. Zap. She drops to the ground, convulsing, and Wang quickly snatches the knife she was holding. He could leave her there and be done with it, but something in him feels bad. So, he tosses her a small pack of food and a water bottle before taking her knife as his new prize. Wang doesn't stick around to see her reaction. He's got to find a safe place to stash his stuff. But, because life hates him, he stumbles right into another group of people. "Hand over the bag." One of them growls, holding up a weapon. "Or else." Seriously? Wang can't believe his luck. 2 back-to-back shakedowns? No way he's giving them a single crumb. Before he knows it, a fight breaks out. There are 3 of them, and they've got him surrounded. Even when Wang manages to take down one guy, the others jump in to back him up. Wang starts slashing with the knife he took earlier, and one of them yells out, "Stop! The blood's gonna attract zombies!" Great! Now it's not just these thugs he has to worry about. He's probably summoned every zombie within a 5-block radius. Our boy Wang takes the chance to bolt, like really run for it. Adrenaline's pumping, heart racing, but guess what? He ends up in a dead-end alley. Yup, classic. The 2 thugs catch up to him and start talking smack, claiming they're part of the Tiger Crew or whatever. Basically, they're about to beat the crap out of him and take everything he's got. But hold up. From the top of a building, the mysterious woman from before is watching all this go down. And let me tell you, she's not about to just chill and let Wang get wrecked. Suddenly, one of the thugs collapses, and next thing you know, she's jumping off the building like a total badass. She lands right in front of the guy holding the bat, ready to throw hands. She tells Wang to toss her his dagger, and when he does, she snatches it midair, sizing up her targets. Then, she starts slicing them up with precision, going straight for their weak spots when they let their guard down. Wang is absolutely freaking out, watching people die for the first time in his life. Meanwhile, the last thug standing, dude takes off like his life depends on it. A little later, Wang and the mysterious woman climb up to a high spot to catch their breath. Wang thanks her for saving his ass, but then, plot twist. She pulls the dagger on him, She demands he drop his taser. Poor Wang is trying to calm her down, like, "Chill, I'm not gonna hurt you." He sets the taser on the ground, and she immediately kicks it as far away as possible, just to be sure. Wang's like, "Look, you can trust me. I'm not here to mess with you. Plus, I'll even share my food with you." That gets her attention. She straight up starts crying tears of joy because she hasn't had good food in forever. While she's stuffing her face, she asks Wang if he's secretly rich, because in her mind, this food is bougie. Wang dodges the question, saying he can't tell her where it came from, but promises that when he goes back to his world, he'll bring her even more amazing food. He pitches the idea of them teaming up, and she reluctantly agrees. But she's got one condition. That back room is my space. No one goes in there without my permission. Wang's like, "Fair enough. You're way stronger than me anyway, so even if I tried something, I'd get wrecked." He introduces himself as Wang Bing, and she finally shares her name, Xiao Yue. Wang sets up in his room, finally getting some well-deserved rest. He notices the windows are all reinforced, which makes him feel a bit safer. But as he looks around, he realizes this house used to belong to some seriously rich folks. Naturally, his brain goes, "Treasure hunt time." He starts rummaging through everything, hoping to find valuables. At first, it's a bust, just old clothes and junk. But then, jackpot. He finds a drawer full of jewelry and immediately starts daydreaming about selling it for millions, proposing to his girlfriend and living the high life. Ill, he figures it'd be better to ask Yue if the stuff is hers before he takes it. So, he heads to her room and, oh boy, he walks in on her completely naked. Wang freaks out, slams his eyes shut, and starts apologizing like crazy for barging in. Yue, on the other hand, couldn't care less. From inside the room, Yue casually asks what he wants. Wang, still flustered, stammers out his question about the jewelry. A moment later, she steps out, fully dressed this time, and tells him he can take it if he wants. "It's just useless junk to me," she says. Then Yue gives him some backstory. Apparently, this whole area used to be crawling with rich people, so there are probably tons of jewels lying around, but she doesn't get the hype. "What's the point of shiny rocks if you can't eat them?" she says. Wang explains that while they're useless to her, they're like gold mines to him. He's blown away by the idea that there might be even more treasure nearby. Yue, feeling grateful for all the delicious food Wang shared with her, offers to help him search for more loot. And just like that, the unlikely duo is officially in business. After a while, they gather everything they can that's worth anything, and Wang's already doing the math in his head, dreaming of the millions he's gonna rake in. Yu even takes it up a notch and shows him the location of a safe. Jackpot. Inside, there's stacks of cash, gold bars, and shiny jewelry. But wait, the bills don't look anything like the real-world money. Total buzzkill. Wang decides those are basically Monopoly money, so he's sticking with the gold for his loot haul tonight. Later, the two head back to the living room, where Wang starts sorting through the jewelry he found. While checking out his spoils, he wonders if he'll ever get to see Yue again once he leaves this virtual world. Curious, he asks the game system in his mind about it. The system responds, super chill by the way, that he'll respawn in the exact same spot where he logged out. Phew. Crisis averted. Relieved, he heads back to Yue, grinning like a kid with a bag of Halloween candy. Wang tells Yue that if she keeps helping him, he'll hook her up with even more delicious food. They strike a deal, partners in crime for survival. Yue then starts filling him in on the situation. Apparently, the government has built these so-called safe zones for humans. Picture high walls, loads of soldiers patrolling, and a big no zombies allowed vibe. But only a handful of survivors have actually made it there. Turns out, the bigwigs running this world are also working on a cure for the infection, but, of course, that's only for the elite. Regular folks like Wang and Yui, they're stuck scavenging for food in these post-apocalyptic wastelands. Curious, Yue asks Wang how he plans to trade all the stuff he's looted for food. Wang smirks and drops the "I'm a merchant from a faraway place" line, like it's no big deal. He promises her it's easy for him to make those trades. Yue, not entirely convinced, warns him not to go out alone. Oh, and one more thing. They can only leave during the day because she's rigged the place with traps for safety. Right then, there's a noise outside. Yue freezes. Her eyes dart to the spot where one of her traps is set. "No way," she mutters, disbelief written all over her face as she peers outside. So, turns out, the ruckus was coming from the White Tiger gang. These dudes are busy deactivating traps, hell-bent on barging in because, guess what? They realized there are people living here. Oh, and they're also out for revenge since someone clocked their buddies earlier. Yue, being the sharp one, freaks out and says they need to move fast because there's no way just the two of them can handle this many. Her brilliant idea: hide in a safer spot. Except that place is crawling with zombies. Lovely. Our boy Wang? Yeah, he's over it. To calm his nerves from all the zombie groans, he whips out his phone to play a game. Yue does a double take like, "Wait, how the hell does your phone still have battery?" Then Wang, curious as ever, asks if the music triggered any memories. Yue gets a little misty-eyed and admits it's been ages since she last heard music, and it reminded her of happier times with her family. Wang, now feeling all the feels, wonders just how rough her life must have been up to this point. Then he's like, "Screw it. We're listening to this song till the end." And to top it off, he promises to find her a phone with a portable charger, which makes Yue light up like a Christmas tree. Now here's where it gets tricky. Our boy Wang starts catching feelings for Yue. Yep, the man's smitten. But he snaps himself out of it real quick, reminding himself he's got a girlfriend. Stay loyal, King. So, they chill, sharing the headphones, vibing to the music, and somehow surviving the night. Next day, they're poring over a map, and we learn the White Tiger gang isn't just some random group. They're one of the top dogs in the area. Oh, and they've been hunting Yue and Wang like it's a freaking game of hide and seek. Other big names: Furious Shark, Brave Eagle, and Totem Bear. Oh, and on top of that, there are about 1,000 other survivors scattered around, each doing their own thing to stay alive. Wang asks Yue about this treasure of the city he's heard about, but she hits him with the bad news. Banks got ransacked the minute zombies showed up, but there's still hope. Apparently, the Furious Shark base is loaded with gold bars. Jackpot. Days pass. They're still hiding, but Wang knows his time here is running out. He tells Yue he's got to head back to the real world soon. Before leaving, he hands over all his food and drinks, promising he'll return in 7 days. Yue looks absolutely crushed, and when she hugs him, it's the kind of hug that makes you want to cancel all your plans and stay forever. She begs him to take her with him, but Wang explains he can't. Still, he vows not to leave her here forever and promises to bring back more supplies. "Just hang in there for a week, okay?" he says, trying to keep it together. But deep down, Wang's feeling like absolute crap. Because let's be real, everything Yue's been through, low-key his fault. He shakes off the guilt, heads to an empty room, and teleports out. Cut to Yue wandering into the room he just left. She's searching for him, but of course he's gone. The look on her face? Heartbreaking. She just sits there, totally defeated. Now, here's where things take a wild turn. Somewhere else, a couple's getting real freaky in a park. Like, full-on, no-shame, public display of affection doesn't even begin to cover it. Out of nowhere, Wang pops back into the real world and screams, "I'm back, baby!" completely ruining the mood for the couple. And that's how the chaos continues. Wang was finally feeling a little more chill. Dude had managed to leave behind all the creepy apocalyptic vibes and, oh yeah, his backpack was loaded with gold and jewels. He wanted to call his girlfriend, Zhao Qian, and drop the bomb. He was filthy rich now. He dials her up, practically bouncing off the walls, and says he wants to see her ASAP. Zhao, on the other end, gives him this lame excuse about house hunting with her family and says she'll meet him later. But plot twist, she's lying through her teeth. Turns out she's all over her side dude, who's busy feeling her up while she's on the call. She barely keeps it together and mumbles something about bad signal before hanging up. Meanwhile, Mr. Side Dude leans in and whispers, "Ditch your broke-ass boyfriend, and I'll buy you that house you've been eyeing. Like right now." Zhao doesn't even hesitate. She texts Wang her location, acting like she's doing him a favor. Wang, completely clueless. He's over here daydreaming about mansions and planning to surprise her with the biggest flex of her life. Cut to the jewelry store. Wang, rocking his tattered apocalypse clothes and reeking of desperation, and probably like actual BO, walks in to sell his loot. The cashier gives him the side eye, clearly thinking, "Oh, homeless guy alert." But then the manager strolls over, takes one look at Wang's stash, and flips out. Turns out, the jewels are legit priceless. Dude writes him a check with so many zeros it looks like a phone number. Just like that, Wang's a millionaire, and he's still got gold bars to spare. Feeling like an absolute king, Wang hops in a taxi and heads straight to the real estate agency where Zhao said she'd be. He walks in, looking like he just survived the Hunger Games, and spots her. But wait, who's that dude with his arm around her? Wang freezes. No way! This isn't happening. He marches up to Zhao and demands to know what's going on. Side dude? Oh, he's loving this. He takes one look at Wang's raggedy clothes and starts roasting him, calling him a hobo. Zhao, rolling her eyes, hits Wang with a classic breakup line. "Listen, we're graduating soon, and I need someone who can, take care of me. If you really love me, you'll let me go." Wang's heart shattered. He's standing there, staring at the girl he thought was his soulmate, the one he went through literal hell for, and she's just done with him. He refuses to believe it. "This isn't you," he says. "Did he force you into this? Tell me, and I'll protect you." Zhao, pissed. "Wang, stop embarrassing yourself." Side dude decides it's time to escalate things and steps up to Wang, itching for a fight. Zhao tries to stop them, but side dude slaps Wang right across the face and says, "You're pathetic. Oh, by the way, I've already slept with her, so game over, loser." Wang, absolutely wrecked. He's too stunned to speak, just standing there in total disbelief. But then, he snaps. He launches a kick straight into side dude's chest, sending him flying into the wall. Zhao loses it, slapping Wang hard across the face. "What's wrong with you? He's better than you'll ever be." Before things get any crazier, the jewelry store manager shows up out of nowhere, trying to defuse the situation. Wang's all like, "I just wanted a nice house, Something that doesn't look like it's about to collapse." But then he takes one last look around and shrugs. "Nah, I'm out. These places are straight up dumps." Before leaving, he glances at his girlfriend. Yeah, the one who just stabbed him in the back, and hits her with, "Wish you all the best. Don't come crying later when this blows up in your face." Meanwhile, this guy is still fuming. Dude's ego is bruised to hell after getting roasted, and he's not about to let it go. Zhao Qin tries to calm him down, but he is not having it. He straight up shoves her aside with a punch, yeah, real classy guy, and charges at Wang, fists flying like he's in some action movie. But just as Li's about to land a hit, Wang, cool as a cucumber, whips out something heavy and hurls it right at Li's face. The dude crumples to the floor like a sack of potatoes. Everyone in the room freezes, their jaws hitting the ground. And why? Because the homeless guy just chucked a freaking gold bar. The manager's eyes nearly pop out of his head. "Wait, is this guy loaded?" The whole room's vibe flips in an instant. Wang doesn't even flinch. He just stares at Zhao Qian, his voice calm but dripping with savage truth bombs. "This is the guy you picked over me? Really? A dude who doesn't even respect you? Yeah, Good luck with that. Wong pulls out his phone, flexes hard, and shows the bank manager and everyone gawking around the room the balance in one of his smallest accounts. And guess what? The dude's rocking $70 million just sitting there chilling. And let's not forget the gold bars he casually owns. The manager's jaw on the floor. With no other choice, the guy rolls out the red carpet, upgrades Wong to VIP status, and starts apologizing like his life depends on it. Then, to top it off, he fires the 3 staff members who had tried to kick Wong out. You know, just a little karma for messing with their most valuable client ever. Fast forward, and Wong is finally living it up in his massive mansion. But here's the thing. He's already scheming to dive back into that apocalyptic world. Why? Because dude wants to grab more rare loot and stack even more cash. Meanwhile, at the university, his friends are gossiping about his recent showdown at the real estate agency and the whole messy breakup with his girlfriend. Suddenly, both of their phones buzz with a notification, a $1 million transfer to each of their accounts. They're freaking out, thinking, is this some kind of scam? A joke? Nope, it's 100% real. Then Wong calls them up. Naturally, the first thing they do is demand answers. Bro, what's going on? Wong, being his casual self, says he's out of town and chilling at his parents' house for a bit. His friends immediately tell him to stay put and lay low because, surprise, surprise, Lee Guy is coming back for revenge after what Wong pulled on him. Wong laughs it off and drops this bomb. I won the lottery. 1 billion, no big deal. They're speechless. Wong just waves it away, saying the money he sent them is pocket change to him now. He tells them to take it, no questions asked, because they've always had his back, and to him, they're like brothers. His friends still warn him, dude, rich or not, you gotta watch out for Lee Guy. He's not messing around. Wang reassures them and ends the call with a cheeky promise, next time we talk, drinks are on me. Later, Wong heads back to his parents' place. It's been ages since they last saw him, so they're obviously shocked when he randomly shows up. To keep things simple and avoid being labeled insane, he tells them he won the lottery. But visiting his parents isn't the only reason he's back. He's here to see his uncle. Turns out, his uncle used to be a mountain hunting legend back in the day. The guy even made his own weapons and gunpowder. Unfortunately, stricter firearm regulations have put a damper on his hunting adventures in recent years. Wang tells him a little white lie, saying he wants to buy some rifles. Not for anything shady, of course, just to practice shooting with his friends in some deserted area. His uncle, being chill, agrees as long as Wang doesn't do anything stupid. He brings out a rifle, a handgun, and even throws in a bottle of anesthetic just in case. After wrapping up his little family visit, Wang leaves some cash for his parents and heads back to the city. Before jumping back into the apocalyptic world, he stocks up. Food, a new phone for Yue, because he promised, a fresh set of daggers, mountain knives, and even some detonators for, blowing up mountains. Finally, the moment's here. Wang gets teleported back to the post-apocalyptic world. But before landing, the system hits him with a notification. Want to start from your last saved point? Heads up, there's someone alive just 10 meters away. Without hesitation, he's like, yeah, let's do this. He's back at the same place where he left Yu. The guy's got a game plan this time. Grab an even bigger haul and level up his survival game. Wang pushes open the door, and there she is, just like he promised, 7 days later. Yu straight up bursts into tears, launching herself at him in a big hug. You actually came back, she cries. Wang tries to play it cool, but you can tell he's a little touched. He tells her to chill for a bit. They'll grab some food and talk things out. That's when he notices Yue's all banged up. Scratches, bruises, the whole 9 yards. Wang's like, what happened to you? She spills the tea. After he left, the White Tiger gang came snooping around. Worried about him, Yue went out to check if he was okay, but barely escaped a couple of close calls. That's how she ended up getting hurt. Wang feels a pang of guilt. She risked her neck for him, not knowing how he dips in and out of this world. He promises her right there, "I'm not gonna let those jerks mess with you again. They'll pay for what they've done. Trust me on that." Yue, wiping her tears, smiles at him. Finally, some hope in this dumpster fire of a world. Wang then whips out all the goodies he brought back, guns, ammo, and enough food to last her a month. Yue doesn't waste any time, tearing into the snacks like she hasn't eaten in weeks, and then, as promised, he hands her a shiny new phone. She freezes, staring at it, and then starts crying all over again. "No one's ever cared about me like this before," she says, choking up. "Since the world went to hell, it's been every person for themselves. People don't just give away food or supplies anymore, but you actually care about me." Wang Qinda shrugs it off, but deep down, he's glad he made her feel that way. While Wang was gone, a fight broke out between the White Tigers and another gang, the Bears, over, you guessed it, food. A few people got hurt, but it didn't blow up into a full-on war. Yue, who's got killer aim, literally, admits she's not so sure they can take down both gangs. But Wang, he's already scheming. The plan? Turn the two gangs against each other. Wang figures there's a fat stash of gold hiding in the Tiger's bank vault. So they're gonna hit the Tiger's building tonight, set up some explosives, and make it look like the Bears did it. Yu points out that sneaking into the gang buildings is pretty easy. They're sloppy when it comes to security. Night falls, and it's go time. Wang and Yue slip into the Tiger's building like ghosts. The place is dead quiet. Most of the gang's probably passed out, but they know better than to let their guard down. They creep up to the 5th floor, where they're pretty sure the storage room is. That's where they'll plant the explosives. But of course, it's never that easy. They bump into a few patrolling members and have to take them out quietly, one by one. No loud noises, no mistakes. Finally, they reach the 5th floor and spot the storage room door, only to find it locked up with heavy chains. Yue pulls out a piece of wire, her eyes glinting with determination. "I've got this," she whispers, kneeling to pick the lock. Suddenly, at the building entrance, zombies start pouring in through the same spot our protagonists had used earlier. They break in way too easily, leaving everyone on the 1st floor totally exposed to getting chomped. The crew on the 2nd floor notices something's off downstairs, but they're convinced it's the Bear Gang causing trouble again. Meanwhile, Wang and Yue finally get inside the warehouse, and it's go time. They're about to blow this place to bits. The Tiger Gang is already on high alert after spotting the zombies, and they immediately notify their leader about the attack. The guy's in total disbelief, like, "How the hell did they even get in here?" He looks toward the warehouse and sees the doors wide open. That's when he spots the dynamite. And boom, next thing he knows, the whole place goes up in flames. The Tiger leader instantly assumes it's the Bear's doing because, duh, who else would have access to explosives? Back inside, Wang and Yue are crawling through the air ducts like it's Mission Impossible. Yue gets out first, but immediately runs into one of the Tigers who recognizes her on sight. Without missing a beat, she shoots him in the head to keep him quiet. But guess what? Her little move distracts her just enough for one of the zombies to make a move. It lunges at her, but Wang shows up like a total badass, slashing its head clean off just in time to save her. This is the first time Wang has faced these flesh-eaters head-on, and now he's ready to throw down alongside Yue to survive. After an intense battle, the two make it back to base completely wiped out. To celebrate their victory, Wang tells Yue she can eat as much as she wants tonight. It's on him. He heads off for a much-needed shower and some clean clothes before finally crashing for the night. Yue, on the other hand, cracks open a can of beer and kicks back. Once Wang gets to his room, he asks the game system to pull up the notification that popped up earlier. The system brings up his character stats panel: strength, agility, physical power, spirit, you name it. Turns out his base stats are, well, kinda trash. But hey, there's a lottery system where you can snag rewards like food, weapons, and attribute boosts. if you're willing to trade a ridiculous amount of gold for it. Plus, you can level up your skills by taking out zombies, which might just be his ticket to becoming a total powerhouse. After checking out all that, Wang steps out of his room only to find Yue passed out on the couch, surrounded by empty beer cans. She's out cold. So, like the decent guy he is, Wang decides to carry her to her room. But while he's lifting her, he can't help but notice, well, let's just say he starts appreciating her figure a little too much. His face turns red, and his thoughts take a turn like, man, she's been so sweet to me this whole time. Maybe she'd make a great girlfriend. But then he shakes it off, thinking, nah, dude, you can't be that guy who takes advantage of someone when they're asleep. He heads off to take a cold shower instead, trying to cool down his thoughts and other things. Little does he know, Yue's been faking it the whole time. She's wide awake and pissed. Why? Because Wang only sees her as a friend and doesn't have the guts to think of her as anything more. Despite her frustration, the two end up having a pretty chill night after their chaotic day. The next morning, Wang and Yue prepare to head east to the city. Meanwhile, the Tiger Gang is sniffing around for food, claiming they caught the scent of fresh meat nearby. Our protagonists were perched up high, scoping out the scene when they noticed them. Yup, those guys, led by a dude with green hair, Chen Jiqiang. These dudes rolled up to a building and demanded the meat they knew someone inside had found. Inside the building, we've got Miao Ruyun, a total badass who used to be a cop before the apocalypse hit. She's claimed the building as her safe zone, and let's be real, she's not about to let some randoms take her stuff. She's holed up with her mentor, Li Chengping, also a cop, though currently out of commission with a foot injury, and some kids. Meanwhile, Wang decides he's got to step in because, let's face it, he's gonna need backup to take down the other factions later. Chaos breaks out, guns blazing and everything, because Officer Miao flat out refuses to hand over the meat. The tigers freak out and scatter, running like their lives depend on it. After the dust settles, Wang casually strolls up to the building with his hands raised like, chill, I just want to talk. He's even got some food with him as a peace offering. Miao and her group let him inside, but they're not dumb. They've got their eyes on him the whole time, guns locked and loaded. The second Wang steps through the door, they shove a gun to his head. Officer Miao doesn't waste time and tells him to follow her up to the second floor to talk alliance business. As soon as Wang makes it to the second floor, boom, he runs into the group of survivors. Right away, Officer Miao hits him with the classic, what's your deal vibe. He's planning to wipe out all the gangs. Yeah, like every single one. Naturally, Miao thinks he's completely out of his mind. She's like, dude, there are way too many of them for you to be throwing hands like this. But Wang, the man with the plan, tells her all about how he stirred the pot between the tigers and the bears, basically making them claw at each other, and now he's planning to do the same with the last two gangs standing. At first, Miao's so not into it. She's all, yeah, hard pass. But then Wang sweetens the deal, more food than they could ever dream of. Oh, and she doesn't even have to worry about weapons or ammo. Wang flexes a little. Turns out being a millionaire comes in clutch in an apocalypse. That catches Miao's attention, and she's finally like, all right, I'm in. Fast forward, they're all back at Wang's base. Wang explains to Miao that, so far, it's just been him and Yue holding the line. And yeah, they've been outnumbered, but Yue? She's a total badass with guns. Later, they crack open some beers to chill with their new guests, when out of nowhere, a massive explosion echoes in the distance. It's coming from the tigers and the bears. Turns out, Wang's been playing puppet master behind the scenes, and now they're at each other's throats. Miao looks at him, half impressed, half suspicious, and says she'll trust him, for now. After some back and forth, they all agree to hit the hay and practice their shooting the next day. The next day, after breakfast, they head to the Sharks' base. But it's immediately clear this isn't gonna be easy. Their security's way tighter than the Tigers. From their high vantage point, Wang and the crew spot guards armed with everything from guns to knives to random sticks. Miao suggests they take out the gun guys first, and without missing a beat, they drop one with a clean headshot. Chaos breaks out. But Wang, he's not happy. He's like, "Yo, chill. Don't go full Rambo on these dudes. We need some of them alive." Cue plan B. Head to the bear's turf and stir up some more drama there. Wang figures if they keep pointing fingers at each other, the gangs will wipe each other out without him lifting a finger. But then Xing, the shark's leader, shows up. She's got big boss energy and immediately dismisses the idea that anyone would dare mess with her gang like this. Instead, she assumes some shadowy figures pulling the strings behind the scenes. Meanwhile, over at the Eagle's base, their leader Fei gets word about a fire breaking out nearby. Dude's on high alert. Of course, Wang and his squad are behind it, and his plan to keep all four gangs at each other's throats is working like a charm. Back at Wang's base, he's practicing his shooting, trying to not suck. Spoiler, he's not great. Officer Miao strolls over, watches him miss his shots, and just shakes her head like, "Bruh, you're wasting bullets." She tells him she just came out to get some air and thanks him for all the help he's given her group. Apparently, Wang's been such a game changer that she started to feel like her old self again, back when she was a badass cop before this whole zombie apocalypse flipped the world upside down. She shares a little more about her past, explaining how she used to work with a squad of other survivors to protect people. But over time, the food started running low. Arguments turned ugly, and things got real messy. So messy that people started dropping like flies. Bit by bit, she lost hope and stopped believing she could actually protect anyone. But then, joining this new group of kids, plus their quirky teacher, kind of reignited her fighting spirit. Now she wants to keep them safe, no matter what. Wang, being Wang, tries to hype her up. "You're seriously brave, you know that?" he says. "Stop selling yourself short, all right?" Cue the heartfelt pause. But then, our guy decides it's time to steer the convo into less emotional territory. He reminds her of the little deal they made earlier. She promised to teach him how to shoot properly. She chuckles and tells him that handling guns isn't too hard as long as you master the basics. And with that, she grabs him by the collar and pulls him close. Her hand slides over his, guiding him as he lines up the shot. Her tips are solid. She's an ex-cop after all. But Wang? Oh, he's not paying attention to the lesson. Why? Well, let's just say her assets are a little too close for comfort, and our boy is struggling to focus. Still, despite being totally flustered, he manages to improve his aim thanks to her guidance. Meanwhile, Yue is standing off to the side, watching the whole thing go down. And let me tell you, she's not happy. Her face says it all. She's low-key heartbroken that Wang didn't ask her for help with his shooting. A few days later, the rivalry between the Tiger Gang and the Bear Gang has escalated into full-blown chaos. Explosions, gunfire, and general mayhem have taken over the city. Meanwhile, our crew is posted up on a high vantage point, just chilling and collecting intel while the two gangs tear each other apart. The results? An absolute bloodbath. Both sides suffered massive losses, burning through a ton of resources and leaving only a handful of survivors. Oh, and remember all that noise from the constant fighting? Yeah, it attracted a huge zombie horde to the Tiger's base. As for the Shark Gang, they've been expanding their territory, taking advantage of the chaos to grab more land while the other gangs are busy getting wrecked. And then there's the Eagle Gang. Thanks to their spies in the Shark Gang, they've managed to get the inside scoop on what's going down. They're ready to defend themselves if the Sharks try anything funny. So yeah, it's looking like round 2 of this gang war is about to pop off real soon. Meanwhile, at Shark Group HQ, the building's barely got a dozen guards patrolling the place. Perfect setup for an ambush, right? Bang. One dude drops from a headshot, and another guard gets snatched up like a scared puppy. Yue chimes in over comms, confirming there are just 2 guards on this floor. Our boy Wang steps up, aiming his gun right at the hostage's face. "Where's the gold, big guy? Spill it or I'll make sure you regret it." Shaking like a leaf, the dude cracks and spills. First floor, storage room. With that, they drag the guy along as their unwilling tour guide, keeping a gun pressed to his back. "All right, you lead the way, genius. If this is a trap, you're the first one eating it." The guard's got a little too much confidence for a guy in his situation, though. Inside his head, he's practically screaming, "These idiots!" They don't know there's a staircase on the opposite side. The second I hit that stairwell, I'm out of here and straight to my boss. Finally, they hit a crossroads, and the guard stops. "This way," he says, pointing ahead. Wang follows, motioning for the rest to hang back. But just as they close the distance, Mr. Genius Guard flips the script. "You're dead!" he yells, grinning like a lunatic. "My boss is coming, and you're all gonna die!" Before he can bolt, the group lunges for him, but the guy's faster than he looks. Too bad karma works quick in this world. He turns a corner and bam! Zombies. The dude freezes like a deer in headlights, screams his lungs out, and silence. Our gang stops dead in their tracks, staring at the carnage from a distance. Blood starts pooling into view, and oh boy, it's not looking good for the guy. "Ah, so zombies?" Wang mutters, breaking the tension. And yep, the undead are here, swarming like a wall of gross, flesh-hungry freaks right in front of the vault. They've got the gold locked down, and it's not looking like a friendly negotiations on the table. Yu frowns, crossing her arms. "Remind me again. Why are we risking our necks for some shiny bricks? This feels super dumb." Wang shrugs. "If we get this gold, we can save our group. You in or out?" Yue hesitates, then sighs. "All right, fine. But this is on you if we die." She's barely finished when she adds, "This is the only shot we've got. If we back off now, it's going to be impossible to come back later." After what feels like forever, they're left panting, but victorious, standing in front of the vault. And when they crack it open, holy crap, it's like Scrooge McDuck's dream come true. Piles of gold, everywhere. "A small problem," Yue says, scanning the room. "How do we move like 40 tons of this stuff?" Our boy Wang stops for a second, lost in thought, and realizes something huge. This gold stash is his ticket to leveling up the system and snagging every single perk he was promised. The moment's here, people. It's go time. Time to fire up the system and see what kind of crazy magic this thing can pull off. The system kicks in and immediately reacts to the mountain of gold in front of it. It's hyped. Finally, some real treasure, it says, popping up an update option. Wang asks how much gold is actually sitting in this vault, and the system casually drops the bomb. 101,968 pounds of pure gold. Yep, no big deal, right? Wang, all fired up, declares, "We're not moving this gold an inch." Ku Miao looking like she just got hit with bad news. After all that effort? For nothing? But Wang lays it out. This gold isn't for them to lug around. There's an organization behind him, one he can't spill too many details about, that's going to handle the heavy lifting. His job? Find the gold, mark the location, and let his secret team sweep in to deal with it. The officer gives him the side eye and snaps, "No wonder you're out here dining on fancy food while the rest of us are scavenging scraps. Who the hell are you working with?" Wang, cool as ever, doesn't flinch. "I can't tell you that," he says. "But trust me, I'd never put you all in harm's way." Miao hesitates, but after everything they've been through together, zombies, chaos, near-death experiences, she knows Wang's earned their trust. Wang quickly sends out the gold's location and tells the group to leave the vault ASAP. "If anyone shows up, let me know immediately," he orders. The girls reluctantly agree and head out, leaving Wang alone with the stash. Now's the moment of truth. The system boots up and opens a menu with two shiny new options: expanded storage and extraction system. Wang doesn't hesitate. He orders all the gold to be transferred into the system's storage. The system chimes in, all business. Once the gold is stored, 10,000 ones will be deducted for the update, and you'll receive a luminous cube. A what now? Wang stares at the screen, confused but intrigued, and asks if he can upgrade again. Sure, the system replies, but you'll need 66,000 pounds of gold to hit the next level, and that's when you unlock the lottery system, where gold can be used as currency. Wang does some quick mental math and grumbles. Damn, that's steep, but fine. Let's do it. The system starts updating, and Wang reflects on how weak his combat skills are. He's been leaning way too hard on his team for protection, and that needs to change. No way he's staying the weak link. Finally, the update's done. The lottery system appears, and get this, a legit slot machine materializes in front of him. It's got a giant lever and everything. Wang can't help but smirk. The cost? 220 pounds of gold per spin. All right, let's see what this baby can do, he mutters, grabbing the lever and giving it a solid yank. Wang thinks this whole system is ridiculously expensive. Like, dude's already dropped a ton of gold just to get it up and running, and now it's asking for even more. But hey, if he wants to get stronger and take down gangs solo like a badass, he's got to keep pouring in that cash. Or, well, gold. And boom, the wheel lands on a level 5 skill. Hell yeah! But wait, oh no. The wheel's gone rogue and starts spinning again like it's possessed, and now it lands on a level 1 skill. Seriously. Turns out, all he gets is a teeny tiny boost to basic agility. Wang just stands there, absolutely crushed. Dude's out 220 pounds of gold for that? He's practically crying at this point, but decides, screw it, I'm trying 10 more times. And so, the chaos begins. After a few spins, the machine spits out the weirdest loot ever. 2 grenades, night vision goggles, a rocket launcher, 3 machine guns, a pack of spicy sticks, and a skill book. Wang's beyond done at this point. At least I got a skill book, he mutters. I'll check it out later or whatever. Then we get a look at his stat table. And okay, it's not all bad. His shooting skill got a solid boost. Critical damage and shooting range are now up by 10 points each. But to level up further, he's got to kill like 1,000 zombies. Wang's clearly not thrilled with his luck so far, but giving up? Nah, that's not his vibe. He's diving in for a few more spins. A little while later, yeah, still nothing impressive. He's won some food and water though, so there's that. But then, plot twist, he actually gets something useful. A box of rifle ammo and a new skill called Flame Palm. Now that sounds badass. Even Wang can't deny it's a win, despite his trash luck. The system tells him he's got 9,000 pounds of gold left, but he's not touching it. For now. Then Wang starts thinking about heading back home. Apparently, 1 day in his world equals 7 days in this apocalyptic hellhole. So if he bails for even a bit, things could get real messy for his friends. Top priority? Helping them out and wiping out the crazy shark gang ASAP. Meanwhile, Meow is just chilling with a soda like it's no big deal. She's all, man, drinking soda used to be so normal, but now it's like a luxury. Yue's like, curl, relax. Wang's probably bringing back more soon anyway. The officer teases Yue, saying her whole face lights up whenever Wang's mentioned. Yue instantly goes red, denying everything. That's not true. Stop making it weird. Right on cue, Wang shows up. They immediately ask if he's marked the group's position, and he's like, yeah, done and dusted, let's move out. Meow suggests attacking now since the building's practically empty, but Wang has other ideas. Nah, he says, we should rescue the Brave Eagles first. The officer looks at him like he's lost his mind. Are you serious? Those guys are weak as hell, and they're not exactly the nicest people. Wang shrugs. Yeah, but if we help them, taking down the crazy sharks will be way easier. Meanwhile, over at the Brave Eagles HQ, things are not looking good. their leaders pacing around like a cat in a room full of rocking chairs, freaking out over the mess they're in. And then we see Chen, a guy who ditched the tigers to join the sharks because, well, food was running low with the tigers. Now he's a mini boss for the crazy sharks, strutting around like he owns the place. The brave eagles, HQ, completely surrounded. The sharks have an army of grunts creating chaos on the outside while their elite squad is hammering down the front gate. It's only a matter of time before the eagles bite the dust. The sharks' plan? Break through the eastern side and swarm the whole place. The eagles' leader looks like he's about to faint, and honestly, who can blame him? His team's defenses are crumbling, casualties are piling up, and the sharks are infiltrating left and right. Then bam! One of the sharks trying to sneak in gets sniped right in the head. The sharks are all like, who the hell is that? They immediately send a squad to hunt down the mystery shooter, figuring it's a sniper hiding out in one of the nearby buildings. Yue, meanwhile, sees they're onto her. She remembers Wang's words. You and Miao are just distractions. Keep moving. Don't let them figure out it's just the two of you. So every time the sharks catch a glimpse of her, she switches positions like a pro. Back at the Eagles HQ, the leaders yelling orders, defend the east, west, and south now, or we're toast. One of his crew comes running with some good news for a change. Someone's attacking the sharks from the shadows and slowing them down. The Eagles' leader almost cries tears of joy. Finally, some help! On the sharks' side, their boss Xing gets a radio call. Her team's panicking. We can't find the sniper, half our squad's down. What do we do? Xing's seething with rage. I don't care who's out there. If they even think about running, I'll kill them myself. She's fuming, but she's not stopping the attack. The Eagles' leader isn't exactly feeling hopeful, though. His squad's numbers are dwindling fast, and if the sharks hit them hard again, it's game over. And then, Xing herself rolls up onto the battlefield. She's standing tall on top of a heavily armed vehicle, ready to rain down hell. Fei looks like he's about to explode with rage. Xing calls out to the Eagles' leader. Here's the deal. Let us into your base and I'll call off my guys, no more bloodshed. But the leader? He's not having it. Not a chance. Xing just smirks. All right then, have it your way. The sharks haul in ladders to storm the place, but before they can make their move, Xing starts unloading her heavy artillery. Fei's frozen, staring at the chaos like a deer in headlights. And just when it looks like all hope is lost, something comes hurtling down from a nearby rooftop. A freaking rocket. It slams into Xing's vehicle, and boom! The whole thing goes up in flames, sending everyone flying. The Eagles' leader is ecstatic. This is it. We've got a chance. He rallies his team, and they start fighting back, taking down the sharks one by one. The sharks, meanwhile, are scrambling to find Xing. And when they do, she's alive, but barely standing, seething with rage. Who the hell did this to me? And then we see him. Wang. Standing tall, rocket launcher in hand, looking like an absolute legend. Fei's all hyped up with everything going on, and you can tell he's itching to make a move. Meanwhile, our boy Wang casually activates his in-game system and bam! Stores his rocket launcher in the storage space he unlocked with an upgrade. Then, out of nowhere, a booming voice comes over some giant loudspeakers. Turns out, it's the leader of the Brave Eagles himself, giving Wang a massive shout-out for saving their butts. He's all, if you ever need help in the future, I got your back, man. But Wang, he's like, cool story, bro, but I'm out of here. No interest in sticking around for the drama. Post-battle breakdown. Both gangs took a serious hit, but the crazy sharks got wrecked the most. Only 30 of them are left standing, and more than half are injured. Even their boss, Xing, is down for the count. The Eagles? Their leader just needs some R&R. Nobody's making any big moves anytime soon, so it's peace and quiet, for now. Cut to our crew celebrating their win. Miao's teacher is blown away. How did just the three of you cause this much chaos? He's also low-key feeling bad for not being able to help. Wang shrugs it off, saying, "The gangs won't be doing anything for a while, but we need to find a new place to live." His plan? Head to the suburbs. Sure, there are more zombies, but way fewer people, which means no one to mess with them while he's gone. Yep, Wang's leaving for 7 days, and Meow's all, "Wait, you're coming back, right?" He reassures her, "Of course. 7 days. I'll be back with all the food you could ever want." Cue everyone throwing out their dream food orders like it's a drive-thru, pizza, burgers, whatever. And the vibe shifts to something a lot lighter after the battle. They're finally relaxing, laughing, and planning their next move. Next day, the crew sets off for the suburbs, and wow, it's crawling with zombies. Wang, ever the strategist, decides this is the perfect time to grind and level up his skills while they search for a safe spot to camp out. Oh, and the kids? Yeah, they're armed to the teeth now, thanks to the stash they scored from the crazy sharks. By afternoon, they find an abandoned building and set up camp. Wang, being the MVP, hands them a box filled with 10,000 bullets. He even plans to take the kids along to teach them. Meow's jaw practically hits the floor when she sees the ammo. "This is insane," she says, before turning to Yue and suggesting they use tomorrow to stock up on food. She was hoping to spend time with Wang before he leaves, and now she's stuck prepping for a veggie run. The disappointment's written all over her face, but hey, she's a team player. For now. The next day, we see Wang hanging out with the kids, practicing his aim from a pretty high vantage point. He tells them straight up, "You can't just stand around doing nothing. You gotta practice." And hey, since the suburbs don't exactly have a lot of human traffic these days, it's way easier to train here. Plus, with a higher zombie count in the area, they've got plenty of targets. So that's basically how they spent their day, just blasting away until nightfall. They let us know that this went on for several days. By the time they were done, they'd burned through around 3,000 bullets and nearly wiped out every zombie in the area. That night, the gang gets ready for a big feast, and Wang and the kids are absolutely hyped. The crew tells Wang that the meal's been prepped just for him since he's gonna be heading out for a bit. They went all out, hunting animals, picking fresh veggies, and even raiding nearby houses for spices. Wang's feeling super touched by the effort. As they sit down, he gives Yue a little head pat, treating her like a sister, which, totally floors Yue. She's been crushing on him, but yeah, Wang's oblivious. And then it's time for Wang's last meal in this world, at least for the next week. Before he leaves, Yue is all kinds of worried about him. Wang reassures her, saying he's got his gun for protection, and asks Meow to take care of the group while he's gone. Yue, still uneasy, asks if she can tag along, but Wang shuts that down, telling her she needs to stay and keep everyone safe. He promises he'll be back in 7 days. Later, Wang sneaks off to a room by himself. An officer asks if he's leaving the same way he did last time, and Wang just heads to the system to log out. Boom. He's out of the apocalypse for now. Back in the real world, Wang is living it up with his friends, sipping drinks and feasting, just like he promised. He tells them how careful he had to be in the apocalyptic world, where food is a luxury. Honestly, being back in the real world feels like hitting the jackpot. Everything's so much more comfortable here. His friends warn him about Master Li, who's apparently sent people looking for him. Wang brushes it off like, nah, not a big deal right now. Then he shifts gears and asks if they've got any post-grad plans, casually mentioning that he's thinking about starting a jewelry business. He's got the hookup to buy a huge batch of jewels at dirt-cheap prices and figures they could open a jewelry shop together if they're down. One of his friends is like, "Bro, starting a jewelry shop sounds crazy expensive. Even with your lottery win, that's not enough to cover it all." But Wang hits them with, "Don't worry, I'm ready to invest up to 20 million. Oh, and by the way, I've got 9,000 puns of gold." Q-Jaw drops all around. His friends start doing the math and realize Wang's probably sitting on more than 8 billion in his account. Absolute madness. Wong's just like, chill, it's no big deal, and offers to take them to his villa to check out the gold stash. Cut to the villa. He shows them this mountain of gold, and his friends are just standing there, thinking they're in some wild dream. They can't help but wonder where he got all this from and start throwing out theories, half joking that he must have done something sketchy to get it. Wang told his friends to chill for now. No need to stress. The next step? Picking out the location for their new store and getting that business license squared away. Once that's sorted, they'll talk again when it's time to launch. Just like that, a brand new empire was born. Yep, these three are about to crush it as future millionaires. Wang's friends couldn't stop thanking him for the insane opportunity he'd handed them. Then Wang's phone buzzed. Finally, his delivery had arrived. He headed outside and waited at the villa's gate for a massive truck to roll up. What was in it? Oh, nothing much, just a ridiculous amount of noodles and rice for the folks back in the apocalypse world. His friends told him they'd handle all the business stuff from here on out, and they made plans to meet at a restaurant near the university entrance later that evening to catch up on any big news. Meanwhile, Wang decided to take a stroll around the city to kill some time before dinner. As he walked, he couldn't help but think about how chaotic life was back in the apocalypse world. Coming back to his normal life felt weird, quiet, too quiet. He realized how much he'd changed, his mindset, his confidence. It was all on another level now. Life and death situations. Yeah, those have a way of making you grow up real fast. Looking around at the university kids, he couldn't help but see them as, well, kids. Was it because of everything he'd been through? Or maybe being filthy rich just gave him a new perspective on life? Either way, he couldn't deny it. He'd leveled up. Wang wasn't just aiming to be a millionaire. He wanted to be the guy. The one who charges into the unknown, who doesn't back down from anything, who's ready to take on the world, or even the end of it. So, our boy Wang is out for a stroll, killing time before dinner with his friends, when he runs into some shady-looking dudes who were clearly waiting for him. And yeah, they don't exactly scream friendly neighborhood watch. Wang's gut tells him these are the goons hired by Master Li Gongzi, and they're not here to swap pleasantries. They're here for revenge. Wang doesn't even bother denying it. He's like, yeah, I'm the guy you're looking for, now what do you want? One of the gangsters steps up, all smug, and asks if he's familiar with H0T, the big boss of the Black Tigers gang. Wang, unimpressed, thinks to himself, pfft, these clowns aren't even in the same league as the White Tigers back in the apocalypse. So, naturally, he tells them to quit wasting his time with their nonsense and asks, what, you want to fight? The gang confirms they're here to give him a good old-fashioned beatdown. They even threaten to break his legs. But Wang, he's totally unfazed. He straight up tells them, try anything and you'll regret it. Seriously, go find somewhere else to fight, I'm not messing up this spot. Surprisingly, the gang agrees, though one of them warns the others, whispering something about how Wang might be dangerous. They decide to call for backup because, apparently, 6-on-1 isn't unfair enough. After a bit, they all head to some sketchy, quiet spot perfect for a throwdown. Wang, still oozing confidence, even has the nerve to call them idiots, taunting them just for kicks. The gang's patience finally snaps, and they prepare to jump him all at once. But Wang, he's been waiting for this. Right as they charge, Wang activates his Fire Palm ability, now upgraded to the next level. With one swift move, he launches a guy into the air like a rocket. The rest of the gang freezes, eyes wide, muttering, wait, does he know Kung Fu? But they're too deep in it now, so they regroup and rush him again. This time, they pull out knives, managing to slash Wang in the back. It's clear he's not used to fighting with this ability yet, but he's not about to back down. Enter H0T, strutting in like he's the final boss. He's ready to finish Wang off, but our guy catches his attack bare-handed and smirks. Laho's stunned like, how is this dude so strong? Wang takes the opportunity to mock him, then delivers a brutal punch right to Laho's family jewels, effectively ending any chance of him continuing the family line. Wang doesn't stop there. He follows up with a fiery blast that sends Laho flying across the lot. Then, as if this isn't chaotic enough, he starts provoking the gang again, daring them to come at him. Just as things heat up, a convoy of trucks rolls in, and the gang cheers, thinking reinforcements have arrived. But Wang isn't worried. He knows his fire attacks aren't strong enough to handle all of them at once, so he switches tactics. Cool as ever, he pulls a gun from his jacket and fires a warning shot into the air. The gang freezes. They weren't expecting this twist. Now pointing the gun at them, Wang lays it down. If any of you step forward, I'll start shooting. Maybe I only need 1 bullet, but hey, 2 would really make my point. The gang leader, still trying to act tough, calls Wang's bluff, claiming the gun might be fake. Wang shuts that down real quick with a bullet straight to Laho's thigh. The guy drops like a sack of potatoes, screaming in pain. Wang turns to the rest and deadpans, "This isn't a game. You want to fight? Step up and take a bullet for the team." At this point, the gang leader tries to save face, yelling threats at Wang. But Wang doesn't even let him finish. He points the gun right at the guy's head, shutting him up instantly. The tables have fully turned. Wang, now enjoying himself, toys with them a bit, pretending he's about to fire. The gang panics, throwing their hands up and begging for a truce. And just like that, the Black Tigers, big, bad gangsters, are reduced to a bunch of scared kids, scrambling to retreat while Wang stands there, victorious and still as cool as ever. Wang let out a sigh of relief. He wasn't planning on using his weapon today, but let's face it, if things had escalated, it wouldn't have ended well. Just as he started cooling down, his phone buzzed. It was his buddy. "Yo, I heard from some classmates that a crew's out looking for you. You good, bro?" Wang chuckled. "Yeah, they came at me, and, well, let's just say I sent them packing, personally." He glanced around the desolate area he was in and added, "Hey, mind calling me a cab? I'm way out in the middle of nowhere." A bit later, Wang met up with his friend, who looked seriously ticked off. Wang, now deep in thought, decided it might be time to lay low for a while. "I can't keep getting into this kind of drama. Do me a favor, keep an ear out for anything sketchy and let me know ASAP." His friend nodded, promising to keep him updated while Wang stayed off the grid. Switching gears, Wang's crew started talking about their jewelry business plans. "So we registered the shop, but now we've got to wait 2 weeks for the license. Meanwhile, we're scouting for a good location." Wang waved it off. "Don't stress. Just focus on finding a middleman to handle the setup. Call me when it's all locked in." Before parting ways, Wang dropped a warning. "Oh, and listen, don't go picking fights with anyone named Lee. That's the last name of my ex's boyfriend, and the dude's out for blood. Turns out, the so-called Master Lee was chilling at some bar, knocking back drinks like there was no tomorrow. Fast forward to the bathroom. Lee, stumbling around like a toddler on roller skates, was mid-plan to leave with some girls when someone grabbed him from behind. Furious, he tried to lash out, only to have a bag shoved over his head. And then, Wang's friends appeared, armed with sticks and zero mercy. "Time to teach this punk a lesson," one of them sneered. They didn't hold back, laughing as they threatened to kill him. Lee, terrified, started begging. "Take my money, whatever you want." But nah, they weren't there for cash. Next thing you know, they dragged him to a stall, one that reeked. Inside, a toilet full of poop, courtesy of one of the guys. Without hesitation, they shoved Lee's head straight into it. He came up gagging, sobbing and vomiting, absolutely humiliated. Meanwhile, back at Wang's place, the guy was on a totally different mission: meal prep. He whipped up enough food to last his squad in the apocalypse for a whole month. Using his futuristic system, he packed it all into a high-tech storage space that kept everything fresh. Satisfied, he activated the portal and returned to the apocalyptic world. His crew had been chatting about him just before he arrived. Right on cue, the door opened, and Wang stepped through, all smiles. "I'm back, folks!" His energy lit up the room, especially for Yue, who looked way too happy to see him. But the real party started when Wang revealed the goodies he brought. Fresh food? Check. For Officer Meow, an ice-cold Coke, a rare gem in this world. She cracked it open and took a sip, her face lighting up like she'd just tasted magic. "Wang, you're a legend!" For her mentor, Wang pulled out a whole box of cigarettes. The old man's eyes nearly popped out of his head. He hadn't smoked in ages. And to top it all off, spicy noodles. That night, the squad feasted like royalty. After a while of cooking, the food smells amazing, and everyone starts devouring dinner like they haven't eaten in days. Mid-bite, Officer Meow pauses. Something about the taste hits her, a memory. Her eyes widen, and suddenly, tears start streaming down her face. But it's not just her. Everyone else in the room looks ridiculously happy, like they've just unlocked some buried nostalgia. Meow wipes her tears and says, "This stew. It used to be so common before the world went to crap. Back then, food was everywhere. Life wasn't this constant fight for survival." She trails off, remembering the good old days. Lazy afternoons soaking up the sun, eating without a care in the world. It was the kind of simple joy they'd all taken for granted. The kids start reminiscing about their families, the games they'd play, and all the laughter that used to fill their homes. Even Uncle Lee looks like he's about to cry, recalling his granddaughter, the one he couldn't save. The guilt has left him alone and broken. That's when Wang steps in like a total boss. "Listen," he says, "what's gone is gone. We can't live stuck in the past. We've got to focus on the now and keep moving forward." Yue, curious as ever, asks, "Oh yeah? You got some master plan or something?" Wang pauses dramatically and then says, "The ocean." "Yeah, the ocean." He suggests heading toward the coast, maybe even finding an island to settle on. "No houses? Who cares? We can build something. We'll plant crops, raise animals, and stop worrying about food. Sure, the journey might suck, but as long as we're together, we can handle it." The room falls quiet. Meow eventually nods, saying, "Sounds great in theory, but you do realize the road to the coast is crawling with gangsters and looters, right?" Wang, totally unfazed, just smirks. "Let's worry about that after we've had a drink. To those we've lost, and to the future, we're gonna build." His words hit differently, leaving everyone a little emotional. And the girls, well, they're low-key swooning over him. He's got that whole confident leader vibe going on, and they feel oddly safe around him. Oh, and as if that wasn't enough, Wang casually drops another surprise. "By the way, I brought you all some new clothes. Try them on after dinner." When the girls finally check out what he brought, their reactions are priceless. Turns out, the clothes include everything from lingerie to cosplay outfits, complete with cat ears. Naturally, chaos ensues as they rummage through the pile, debating what's wearable and what's just plain weird. Meanwhile, Wang sneaks off for a shower. In the bathroom, he finds a note stuck to the tub. It says something like, "The water's been heated just for you at the perfect temperature. Enjoy." It's from Yue. He chuckles to himself, thinking how sweet it was of her to go out of her way like that. As he relaxes in the tub, he starts mulling over his life outside this apocalyptic mess. He's already stacked up a ton of cash in the real world, so what's next? Why even keep coming back to this world? But then he shakes off the thought. If nothing else, he wants to build a safe haven for his crew here. They've grown on him, big time. Just as he's getting deep in thought, there's a knock at the door. It's Yue. She asks, "How's the water? Is it good?" Wang, a little flustered, says, Yeah, it's great. Thanks." But then Yue casually opens the door and says, "Mind if I check for myself?" Wang freezes, completely caught off guard. Before he can even respond, Yue steps inside. "Well, you didn't say no," she teases. So I'm coming in. And just like that, Wang is left speechless as Yue joins him in the bathroom, leaving the audience with one hell of a cliffhanger. Wang's brain was short-circuiting. The towel dropped. Yep, just like that. She didn't even flinch and stepped into the same tub. "Don't worry," she said casually, like this wasn't the most awkward situation ever. "You don't have to look at me if you don't want to." Wang was screaming internally, trying to hold it together. "You're way too innocent," he said, avoiding eye contact. "We're adults, Yue. People could seriously get the wrong idea about this." But she didn't care. She leaned in, whispered something dangerously close to his ear, and his brain went into overdrive. "Do you actually like me?" he asked, his voice shaking a little. Yue froze, her confidence faltering. I always think about you," she stammered. Wang sighed, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Look, Yue, are you sure this is love? Or are you just confusing gratitude for something else? I've been nice to you, but that doesn't mean you owe me anything." Yue looked down, conflicted. "You're probably right. My feelings are all over the place. I don't know what I'm doing." "Then think about it," Wang said gently. "Figure out if what you feel is real love or just admiration." He gave her a soft smile, got out of the tub and left her there, stunned and probably a little frustrated. Back in his room, Wang flopped onto the bed, staring at the ceiling. His mind was racing. Did he do the right thing? Yue was sweet, caring, gorgeous. Basically, everything a guy could ever want, compared to his ex, who had completely shattered his trust. Yue was a literal angel. But still, he couldn't shake the fear. Getting close to her might make it 1,000,000 times harder to let go when the time came. Just as he was about to drift off, the door creaked open. He sat up and almost had a heart attack. There stood Yue, dressed in something very provocative. His jaw hit the floor. Wang stammered, his face turning red. "Where did you even find that?" She shrugged. "In that package of clothes you brought." And then it hit him. Oh no, he remembered ordering clothes online and yeah, okay, maybe he got a little too excited when he stumbled on some innocent-looking schoolgirl outfits. He didn't realize this was part of the package. Yu took a step closer, her playful grin softening. "Being with you, I've never felt safer. I'm not hungry anymore, and you're always so kind to me. I know how I feel now." She blushed deeply. "So, accept me, please." Before Wang could process what was happening, she leaned in and stole a kiss. His brain officially melted. He gently pushed her onto the bed, his voice low. "Are you sure about this? Because if we go any further, I'm not stopping." She nodded, her gaze steady. "I've never been more sure. Tonight, I'm yours." And that was that. Let's just say it was a very eventful night. The next morning, the group hit the road toward the coast. No car, so it was all on foot. Great. Along the way, they ran into a few zombies, but they were well armed now, so it wasn't a big deal. Still, no one wanted to attract more of them, so they stuck to using melee weapons. It wasn't going to be an easy journey, but hey, at least Wang felt a little lighter after clearing the air with Yui, though he still couldn't get her out of his head. The officer straight up tells Wang he's gotten way stronger since he came back to the group. Fast forward to nighttime, the crew stumbles upon an abandoned community. Jackpot! It used to be some bougie neighborhood, so obviously, it's the perfect spot to crash for the night. Wang is all for it, because hello? Fancy area means fancy leftovers, right? He's already got his eye on looting some valuable stuff to upgrade his system and level up even more. They pick the tallest building to camp out in, prime real estate with a killer view. If anything sketchy happens, they'll see it coming from a mile away. Smart move, right? Well, maybe not smart enough. Cut to two shady guys lurking in the shadows. They've caught a whiff of the ham our gang is cooking, because apparently ham is loud as hell, and they're not loving it. Oh, and they've also noticed the crew has weapons. Bad news. These dudes are already scheming. They're outnumbered, one of them whispers. "This'll be easy, let's tell the boss back at the village." And just like that, they're gone. For now. Meanwhile, back in the building, Wang is wiped. Dude's out here running on fumes. Ye, on the other hand, is all smiles. Let's just say things got spicy earlier, and now she's being all sweet, telling him to get some rest. She heads off to check on Meow's old teacher who's pulling guard duty. "Wait, isn't your shift after 3? What are you doing here?" he asks. Yue just shrugs. "Couldn't sleep. Figured I'd take over early. You should really go rest. Your leg's still messed up." After some back and forth, the guy gives in and limps off to bed. And just when everything seems chill, it starts raining. Not a light drizzle either. Movie-level dramatic rain. Yue spots something, or someone, moving in the distance. Her gut's screaming at her that something's off. She's right. Turns out, those 2 shady dudes weren't kidding around. A whole squad of enemies has rolled up, and they're not here for small talk. Time's up. Wang and his crew are about to face their next fight for survival, whether they're ready or not. She says there are about 20 people surrounding them, but since it's raining, visibility sucks, and she can't tell if they're armed. Wang steps up and says, "All right, Officer Meow Yue, and I will keep an eye on that side. Uncle Lee, you're on stair duty, don't let anyone up." The kids pipe up, eager to help, but they get shut down fast. "Pack your stuff," they're told. "If things go sideways, we'll need to move quick." Now our guy Wang's got a sniper rifle. He scopes in, studying the enemy's positions and movements. He's not about to let them regroup. That'd be a huge mistake. So without wasting time, he starts taking them out. Headshots only. One after another. Panic spreads among the attackers, and they scramble to flee and reposition. Thanks to Wang's quick trigger finger, the group gets a moment to breathe. But Yue? She's not satisfied. "We should finish them off," she insists. Wang shakes his head. "I had to shoot, but if we keep going, we'll draw a whole zombie rave to our doorstep." Officer Meow backs him up. He's right. No need to attract any more trouble. Best plan? We leave this place at first light. We've already made too much noise. Meanwhile, over in some shady warehouse, the attackers are regrouping. They're suspicious about how they got spotted so fast. "They must have some high-tech gear," one guy mutters. "Night vision goggles or something." Their leader isn't buying any excuses. "Doesn't matter," he growls. "We've got 300 zombies penned up on the west side of the village. Get everything ready. We're sending those undead freaks straight at them." Back at the hideout, Wang notices dawn is creeping up and tells Yue to catch some sleep. But Yue's not going anywhere. "I'll stay here with you," she says firmly. Just then, a shadow moves in the bushes. Both of them spot it immediately. 2 figures are sneaking closer, but they're trying to be all stealthy about it. Yue aims her sniper rifle, ready to take them down, only to realize they're just zombies. Without hesitating, she takes the shots and drops them. But before they can even pat themselves on the back, more shadows emerge. And then more. In seconds, a whole freaking horde of zombies is heading straight for them. "Must have been the gunfire," someone mutters. But Yui isn't convinced. There were shots earlier tonight, and no zombies showed up. This question mark, this feels planned. Wang doesn't look fazed at all. Well, since they're here, might as well use them for target practice. The kids could use the training too. The zombies finally reach the bottom of their hideout, and everyone realizes just how bad things are. They're surrounded. Everyone's on edge, their nerves practically doing cartwheels. But Meow steps up like a total boss and says, "Chill out, guys. Zombies can't climb up here. We're safe for the night." With that, everyone finally decides to grab some sleep. Meanwhile, way off in the distance, the vandals are watching again. These creeps have figured out that our gang's cornered. They're just sitting there like vultures, waiting for them to run out of food or bullets so they can swoop in. Classic villain move. Morning rolls around, and Wang wakes up to the sound of a kid begging him to practice shooting zombies outside. But Wang, nah. Dude's got his priorities straight. He's hungry. First things first, breakfast time. Wang knows those shady guys are spying on them from a distance, so he's already cooking up a plan, and he announces he's gonna whip up some BBQ. Yep, straight up grilling in the apocalypse. Meows all, Wang, maybe don't waste the supplies you brought? But Wang, being Wang, waves her off and says, don't worry, we've got plenty. Plus, this isn't just any dinner. Cut to the vandals across the way. They're over there trying to choke down another bowl of plain veggie soup. Yeah, it's as sad as it sounds. Their leader's trying to keep it together, but the crew's losing it. Muttering, grumbling, ready to riot. And then, the mouth-watering smell of grilled meat starts wafting over from Wang's side. Instant chaos. The vandals are practically drooling, realizing the gang's having what smells like a 5-star feast. Back to Wang, who's out there playing Master Chef. Everyone's floored by the spread he's put together. Meow catches on and starts laughing, realizing this was all part of Wang's evil genius plan to drive the vandals crazy with jealousy. Yue, on the other hand, is low-key jealous that Wang is showing off. She's got feelings, but who's got time for that when there's grilled meat involved? Meanwhile, the vandals are losing it. One guy's like, I can't take this anymore, all we eat is soup. Another chimes in, remember when we had to eat, people? Yeah, this sucks even more. Their leader tells them to shut up and wait for the perfect moment to strike. He's got 300 zombies on standby, ready to be unleashed. Suddenly, the sound of gunshots echoes through the air. The vandals tense up, thinking this is it. Maybe our gang's trying to make a break for it. Turns out, it's just the kids practicing their aim on the zombies. Wang's got them lined up like it's zombie boot camp. After practice, Wang congratulates him, and even hands out a little prize. Xiaonan, being the MVP he is, insists on sharing it with Xiaobao because, family and teamwork and all that wholesome stuff. This leaves Xiaobao deep in thought, like really thinking about how they're all basically a family now. Later, Wang spoils the kids with more food as a reward for helping take out the zombies. She's worried Wang's blowing through their food stash like there's no tomorrow, but Wang, dude's just like, chill, trust me. Meow's starting to pick up on something weird, though. Every time the rations bag runs low, it's mysteriously full again the next day. She's dying to know Wang's secret, but figures it's not worth stressing over. For now. After all, thanks to him, they're still alive and kicking. Meanwhile, Wang gathers the kids and a sniper rifle, announcing it's time for art class. Cue a whole day and night of zombie target practice. The vandals watching from afar, straight up panicking. They thought they'd just wait it out until Wang and the gang ran out of bullets, but now they're thinking these guys might have an infinite ammo cheat code or something. By the time night falls, every zombie in the area is toast. Wang's completely wiped, though. Yue suggests teaming up to make things easier on him, but he waves her off like, nah, I got this. Plus, I'm leveling up my weapon skills here, so it's all good. Over the next few days, it's all Wang, all the time, as he single-handedly clears out wave after wave of zombies while his crew chills, eats well, and gets some much-needed rest. Eventually, he levels up his weapon system to level 4, upgrading his pistol into a sniper rifle in the process. Big flex. He even brags that his shooting skills have surpassed Officer Meow's. She's probably low-key annoyed but doesn't say anything. 7 days later, out of nowhere, he shows up with another box of supplies, because that's just how he rolls. He tells the group he's heading out again for another 7 days and to hold down the fort while he's gone. Before leaving, though, he drops a bombshell. He's been sneaking food into their stash, but it costs a ton of gold. He hints at having a way to turn gold into valuable supplies, but promises to spill the full tea later. Yu, ever the ride or die, assures Wang they've got his back no matter how he's pulling it off. She's like, your secret's safe with us. Do what you gotta do. With that, Wang takes off, feeling a little more at ease, and heads back to the real world. But his return trip? Total disaster. He lands in a pretty sketchy spot and immediately starts yelling at the system to please get it together next time. Our boy Wang grabs his phone and bam, a flood of missed calls from his friends and, oh yeah, one from his ex. He freezes for a second thinking, what the hell does she want now? Maybe she got dumped and wants to crawl back. Who knows? But he's got bigger fish to fry right now, like calling up his buddy Hong Fei to discuss their plan to open a jewelry shop. Wang heads back to his villa, finally gets a signal and calls Hong Fei. He's all, yo, sorry I missed your calls. I was out running errands in the middle of nowhere. Signal sucked. What's up? The cops looking for you or something? Hong Fei's like, wait, what? Why would the cops be after me? Wang explains, well, I did kinda destroy the black tigers, and I was a bit worried they'd snitch or something. But Hong Fei just laughs and says, bro, relax. If those punks called the cops, they'd be the laughingstock of the whole city. No way they'd risk that kind of embarrassment. Moving on, Hong Fei says everything's going smoothly with the jewelry business thanks to their partner Xing Ping. Wang's like, good to hear. Let's talk about it tomorrow in person. It's late and we both need sleep. Just as he hangs up, his phone rings again. Guess who? His ex, Zhao Qian. Oh boy, here we go. He answers with a sharp, what do you want? She gets straight to the point. I heard you took down some black tiger guys with a gun. Is it true? Wang, not in the mood, snaps, what I do now is none of your business. Zhao Qian tries to sound sincere. Look, I just wanted to warn you. I know what I did to you was wrong. I'm not asking for forgiveness, but you need to be careful. Master Li and the Black Tigers won't let this slide. I heard he's hiring someone to take you out. Just watch your back, okay? They say their goodbyes, but Wang is left scratching his head. Why is she suddenly being so nice? Is this some kind of trap? Still, he knows one thing for sure. Master Li isn't messing around. Even though Wang's shooting skills are top-notch, he's not thrilled about using guns in real life. He needs a backup plan. So he calls up his in-game system and tells it to fire up the lottery machine. He's betting everything on luck to upgrade his Fire Fist ability ASAP. Wang grips the lever of the lottery machine like his life depends on it. Because, it kinda does, and yanks it down with a mix of desperation and hope. The first spin stops. Ding! He wins a new skill. And just like that, our guy's back in the game, pumped and ready to face whatever comes his way. Wang's new power. Super speed. And let me tell you, it's no joke. His body feels so light now, it's like he's gliding. So naturally, our boy decides to test it out immediately. He checks the distance from his spot to the city. 5 kilometers. Easy, he thinks. He gets into a runner's stance, and boom, he's off. The dude's flying across the ground, feeling like he's got rockets for legs. Only 9 minutes later, he's standing in the city. That's 1 kilometer every 2 minutes. Even Usain Bolt would be jealous. But just as he's soaking in his new skill, a commotion breaks out nearby. Of course, it's those Black Tiger Gang punks again, causing chaos. This time, they're hassling a street vendor and his daughter. Apparently, they're demanding some sort of protection fee from the guy. Things go from bad to worse when one of the thugs starts eyeing the girl and says something creepy like, let's see how much she's grown. He steps toward her, clearly about to cross every possible line. The vendor, her dad, shouts, she's still a kid! But does that stop this dirtbag? Nope. He keeps moving toward her like he owns the place. That's when Wang's blood starts boiling. He's ready to jump in, but right at the last second, an old man steps in and grabs the thug's arm. Yep, you heard that right. A grandpa stops the dude mid-action. The gang doesn't take this lightly. They start yelling, let him go, old man, or we'll blow your head off. But the grandpa, he's unshaken. Cool as ice, he stares them down, not letting go. One of the other gang members grabs the vendor and threatens to snap his neck if the old man doesn't back off. Wang notices something strange. No one else seems to see what he sees. The old man isn't just strong. There's something different about him. The thug finally snaps and swings a punch right at the grandpa's face. And guess what? It lands, dead center. But nothing happens. Nothing. The old man doesn't even flinch. The thug looks like he just punched a steel wall. Now he's freaking out. The grandpa smirks and says, "No tricks here. You kids today have forgotten the wisdom of the past. Ever heard of Kung Fu?" Before anyone can answer, bam! The old man moves so fast, it's almost a blur. 2 palm strikes later, and the thugs are flying through the air like ragdolls. But the black tigers aren't done yet. More of them pull out knives and charge at the grandpa. They're ready to end this guy for humiliating them. Yet, even with their blades, they can't touch him. The grandpa dodges their attacks with the ease of someone half his age. Even though he looks tired, he's still leagues ahead of these punks. One of the guys grabs a chair, fully ready to smash it over someone's head, but Wang catches on just in time. Oh, he's not about to just stand there like some clueless rookie. Nah, my guy fires up his flaming palm technique, stopping the dude who was about to lay out the old man. And let me tell you, that move leaves everyone wide-eyed, especially the old man. The father and daughter start pouring out their thanks, all teary-eyed and grateful, but Wang's not playing the nice guy all the way. He's like, "Listen, you can't stick around here anymore. These guys aren't gonna let you off easy. Pack it up and find somewhere else, old man." Meanwhile, the Black Tiger crew, they didn't sign up for a showdown with actual martial artists. They're already thinking about booking it out of there. But just as the bald dude's trying to sneak off, Wang steps in, all cool and menacing. "Whoa there, cue ball. Leaving already? We're not done yet." The guy starts shaking in his boots. Well, if he even had boots. I don't care whose turf this is, Black Tigers or whoever. You don't get to bully people like that anymore. Got it? Baldy nods like his life depends on it and swears they won't pull that crap again. Then, trying to save face, he nervously asks Wang, which faction are you and the old man with?" Wang just smirks and says, "Factions? Nah, I'm solo. But you better remember the name. Wang Bing." With that, Wang helps the old man up, asking for his name. The old guy dodges the question like a pro. "You're not ready to know that yet, kid. Maybe someday." Meanwhile, Baldy suddenly has a light bulb moment. This Wang guy is that Wang, the one who put his boss Dong in the hospital. Apparently, Dong had tried to mess with Wang, but Wang shot him in the leg and left him bedridden. So yeah, Baldy takes the hint and scurries off before things get worse. The crowd around Wang starts whispering, "Dude, you should leave. You've ticked off the Black Tigers and they don't let stuff like this slide." Wang decides to take their advice. But just as he's about to head out, the old man pipes up, "Hey, wanna grab a cup of tea with me?" Wang, ever the gentleman, happily agrees. Cut to a little later. They're sitting down, sipping tea, and the old man drops some serious martial arts wisdom. "Kid, you've reached the 2nd level of the flaming palm technique. Impressive. How old are you?" Wang casually replies, 21. Just a college student, no big deal." The old man's jaw practically hits the floor. "At your age? That's insane. This technique's no joke." Then, out of nowhere, the old man throws Wang a curveball. "Hey, how about we spar? I want to test out your kung fu with my flaming palm." Wang looks at him like he's crazy. No offense, but I might accidentally hurt you. My moves aren't exactly beginner-friendly." But the old man just laughs it off. "Kid, I've been doing this longer than you've been alive. Trust me, I can handle it. Let's call it a friendly exchange of skills." Wang eventually gives in, but he's still cautious. The old man insists Wang make the first move, but Wang hesitates. That's when the old man hits him with the classic mentor line. "If I go first, you won't even get a chance to try. Better make your move now." With that, Wang decides to go for it, powering up his flaming palm to 30%. Just a little test, right? Turns out the old man's skills are the real deal, and Wang just got a front row seat to some serious martial arts mastery. "Yo, you've got some solid moves," the old man says, cracking a sly smile. "But you're still a little wet behind the ears if you want to reach my level." Wang's eye twitches. He knows the old man's testing him, and yeah, maybe he's been holding back a bit, but then the old guy takes it up a notch. Come on, kid. Stop playing around. Give me everything you've got. Let's see what you're made of. Wong smirks, wiping some sweat off his brow. Oh, you want my best shot? All right, old man. You asked for it. He takes a step back, his fists glowing faintly, heat radiating off his palms like the sun itself decided to get involved. Time to go full send. In a blink, Wong takes off like a rocket. After an intense practice fight between Wong and the old martial arts master, the scene switches to both of them, chilling with some tea. The old man, with a smirk, says the sparring session was a good time. Wong thanks him for all the advice he's been giving, and the elder hits him with some praise. Kid, for your age, you're pretty impressive. He even points out that Wong's inner strength is top tier for someone so young. But then comes the catch. Wong is seriously lacking in combat experience. If he ever wants to unleash the full potential of his flaming palm move, he's got to get into some real fights. Wong, feeling bold, makes a request. Can you teach me Kung Fu, please? Take me on as your disciple. He explains that while the flaming palm is a beast of a technique, right now he's just relying on brute strength. In a real fight, he'd get wrecked, but if he learns the basics of Kung Fu, he could fight and defend himself like a pro. The old man nods, stroking his beard like a wise sage in some old-school movie. He tells Wong that while the flaming palm is one of the most powerful techniques out there, Kung Fu is just as important. And then he drops a bombshell. The flaming palm isn't just any move. It's tied to Buddhist martial arts. Seeing Wang's good intentions to protect his loved ones and not use it to hurt others, he agrees to take him as his disciple. Wang's over the moon with gratitude, and like in every good martial arts story, he kneels in front of the master to show respect. Then the old man reveals his real name, Li Zhengguo, and shares that his Kung Fu style has been passed down through generations of his family. It's a family-only thing, but Wong, he's special. So special that Li Zhengguo promises to teach him everything he knows. But there's a warning. If you ever dishonor our clan or do anything shady, you'll regret it. Q Wang sweating bullets, trembling, and immediately promising not to mess this up. And just like that, their bond as master and disciple is sealed with a cup of afternoon tea. Later, Wong meets up with his crew, and this dude is feeling generous. He tells them he's planning to buy luxury cars for each of them. Why? Because it'll boost work efficiency, of course. Oh, and he's thinking about getting a van for road trips, too. You know, for the whole apocalypse survival gang. In his head, he's like, this is totally gonna make them happy. They roll up to a dealership ready to shop, but drama hits the moment they walk in. The manager, a sharp-dressed woman, starts chewing out some new employee. Wong casually steps in, saying he's interested in checking out the cars on display. She sizes him up like a hawk, eyeing his outfit. No designer labels, just regular clothes. To her, he screams broke. She straight up tells him, this place is for millionaires. You shouldn't even be here. Wang doesn't flinch. Instead, he gives her a sly smile and says, I can buy whatever I want. But she's not buying his story and decides to pass him off to the newbie employee. She also tells him not to touch the cars. Just look. Rude, right? While the newbie awkwardly tries to help, Wang asks how he's doing in his job. Turns out, the poor guy is struggling and constantly getting scolded by the manager. After browsing for a bit, Wang drops a bomb. Show me something over $1 million. They bring out this jaw-dropping green luxury car priced at $2.3 million. His friends? They're absolutely shook, standing there with their mouths wide open because, let's be real, that price is insane. The manager storms over, hands on her hips, practically fuming. What's all this racket? She snaps, glaring at Wong and his crew. Without missing a beat, she starts chewing them out, saying they've got no business being inside the car because, let's face it, you couldn't afford this in your wildest dreams. Wong's buddy, clearly embarrassed, mumbles something about getting out of the car. But Wong? Nah, not today. He slams the door shut before his friend can step out. "Relax," he says, flashing a grin. "I'll handle her." Meanwhile, the manager pivots to the newbie employee, ripping into him like it's his fault this circus is happening. Then she barks orders to the security team. "Get these clowns out of here and don't let me see their faces again." The guards show up, but Wong, he's not about to go quietly. When they try to grab him, he gives them that look, the kind that screams, "You're making a big mistake." And boy, does he prove it. With a single move, he sends them flying like rag dolls. The whole showroom goes dead silent. His friends, jaw dropped. The manager, now redder than a tomato, screeches, "You broke Bast! I'm calling the cops, and you're paying for their medical bills." Without missing a beat, Wong pulls out a freaking gold bar and chucks it at her feet. "Here, that ought to cover it. Oh, and for the record, you're the one who started this mess. We just wanted to buy a car, and you had to make it a whole thing." The manager stares at the gold like it's a UFO. One of the guards picks it up, gives it a good look, and mutters, I think this is real." Her co-worker, clearly over her nonsense, finally snaps. "You've gone way too far," he says. She spins on him, ready to let loose again, but he's done. "I quit," he shouts, throwing up his hands. Wang, watching the drama unfold, steps in. "Hey, hold up. How about you help me instead? I'm still buying a car." The ex-employee blinks. "Dude, I don't even work here anymore." Wang smirks. "Fine by me. I'll take 3 cars, top specs, different colors, you in?" The manager's about to call him crazy, but then Wong casually pulls out his phone. In 2 clicks, he transfers $7 million to the dealership's account. The guard at the computer nearly chokes. Boss? He actually did it." The manager freezes, staring at the screen like it's her worst nightmare. Meanwhile, Wong turns back to the ex-employee. "Now, let's go check out my new ride." Suddenly, the manager switches gears. Her face is all smiles now, her voice dripping with fake sweetness. "Congratulations. You're now one of our VIP clients. I'll personally make sure your experience here is unforgettable." Wong raises an eyebrow. "Unforgettable? You mean like the part where you called me a broke loser?" She stammers, practically begging now. "Please. If you don't forgive me, I'll lose my job. My reputation's on the line. I'll do anything, literally anything, you want." Wong smirks, clearly enjoying this. "Anything, huh?" But instead of dragging it out, he points to the ex-employee. "Give him the commission for all 3 cars." The guy's face lights up. "Wait, seriously?" "Yup," Wong says, grinning. "You earned it." And just like that, everyone rolls out of there in brand new, top-of-the-line cars, leaving the manager behind to stew in her own mess. After a while, the crew is out testing the cars, speeding down the highway like they've got something to prove. They spot 2 sports cars up ahead, and one of the drivers notices Wang's shiny new rides trying to overtake them. Of course, these guys aren't just gonna let it slide. They're looking to have a little fun. Cue the unofficial race to see who's the real king of the road. Wang's friends are all hyped up, ready to floor it and show they're not scared of a little action. But Wang? He's the voice of reason, kind of. "Guys, chill out. It's been forever since we last drove anything like this. We're no match for these rich dudes, yet." The squad agrees, begrudgingly, so they ease up on the gas, letting the drama simmer down, for now. Meanwhile, the guys in the sports cars are all confused, like, wait, why are these guys slowing down? They take one look at Wang's brand new cars and figure, oh, they're probably scared to scratch their fancy toys. One of the drivers, though, gets curious. Who the heck bought 3 luxury cars of the same model? Now he's gotta know. The guy matches Wang's speed, pulls up next to him, and shouts, "Hey, there's a gas station up ahead. Let's stop and chat for a bit." And just like that, they're pulling in and parking like it's the start of some bro-y car meetup. Wang and his friends get out, and the guy introduces himself. Name's Liu Xinghua. and this blonde dude over here is Jiang Wenqiang. Don't worry, we're not here to show off or anything, we just want to hang out. They chatted up, and surprisingly, Liu and Zhang are cool as hell. Wang even lets them test drive one of his cars, and they return the favor. Boom, new rich friends unlocked. Fast forward a bit, and they're all out grabbing dinner together. Turns out Liu and Zhang come from families dripping in wealth and influence, but they're not stuck up like you'd expect. Wang tells them about his plan to open a jewelry store, and these guys? They're impressed, like, dang, you're really out here doing big things, huh? They exchange contacts, and Liu tells Wang to keep him in the loop. He's interested in partnering up down the line. The next day rolls around, and Wang's getting ready for another trip. This time, he's packed extra food and plans to bring his newly bought truck along for the ride. He's buzzing with excitement to surprise his friends again. Without wasting any time, he teleports and lands straight into a soaking wet situation. Yep, Wang's now standing in a bathtub, in a bathroom. He stumbles out, dripping wet and totally confused, only to realize he's in Officer Meow's room while she's getting dressed. Cue the shouting, "What the hell are you doing here? Get out!" Furious doesn't even cover it. Wang scrambles to leave, but Yue hears the commotion and assumes the worst. Just as Yue's rushing to help, Wang opens the door and, plot twist, everyone's ecstatic to see him after a week-long absence. Yue hugs him like she hasn't seen him in years, all, "I missed you so much." Wang's happy too, but then his face scrunches up, and he's like, "Wait, what's that smell? It reeks of dead rats." Cut to the front yard, and yeah, there's a massive pile of rotting zombies just chilling out there. The kids have been practicing their combat skills on the undead. All this chaos? Yeah, it's thanks to those vandals from earlier, the geniuses who thought it'd be a great idea to keep luring zombies to this place. Wang's no fool, though. He figures out their plan pretty quick. They're just trying to drain his group's ammo supply so they can swoop in later. Smart, but not smart enough. Meow, meanwhile, can't stop complaining about the stench in the area. "If we weren't waiting for you, we'd have ditched this dump ages ago." Oh, she snaps. Wang decides it's time to pack up their stuff and make a break for it first thing in the morning. No one's arguing with that plan. Night rolls in and everyone heads to their rooms to sleep. Well, almost everyone. Yue, rocking a brand new outfit, has her own plans to give Wang a very special welcome. Let's just say their night gets, eventful. And discreet? Oh no, that's not in their vocabulary. Meow, poor thing, can hear everything through the walls. And when I say everything, I mean everything. To make it worse, Yue and Wang even start talking about her mid-session. Now she's stuck in her room, blushing like crazy, and probably wishing for a pair of noise-canceling headphones. Fast forward to the morning, and the vandals finally catch on that something's up. They spot Wang's group loading up into a freaking passenger van. In this post-apocalyptic wasteland, that's like finding a unicorn. One of the vandals suggests going after them, but their leader shuts that down quick. These guys have everything. There's no way we're winning a fight against them, but he smirks. We could raid their old hideout. Bet they left some supplies behind. Cut to the vandals stumbling upon a jackpot. Bags and bags of rice. But instead of celebrating, they're suspicious. Why is there so much food here? Food's supposed to be scarce. One of them mutters. Is this poisoned or something? The leader shrugs. Even if it is, we haven't eaten in forever. We'll take our chances. And yeah, they dig in. Meanwhile, Wang, he's grinning ear to ear. Turns out he left a little surprise in that rice. He spiked it with laxatives. Petty revenge? Absolutely. Satisfying? Oh, 100%. Their next destination? A nearby city. The problem? They have no clue what they're walking into. Could be fine. Or could be another nightmare waiting to happen. After days of travel, they finally reached their destination, a city that clearly used to be packed with people back in the day. The night falls, and everyone's chilling around a campfire, heating up their food, except Wang. Dude just bolted off toward the road to scope out the area. We see him standing at a high vantage point, scanning the city below. It's clear he's got a plan to head deeper into the city, but he's stuck in this inner debate. Should he go for it? Or is that just asking for trouble? He knows nothing about what's really going on down there, and the unknowns got him second-guessing if diving in head first is worth the risk.